Welcome everyone to Louder and Proud Orlando, Monday, September 18th, 8:42 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. Very happy. I mean, an 8-point week. You got Orlando City showing, and I think what this pod has been about since we started. I mean, we've been very positive. We believed from day one that this team could do this. We believed in the squad, in the players, in the depth, and a lot of things were said in the beginning of the year. But the good thing is that Orlando is winning. The Orlando City fandom, I think, is united in positivity for what's coming next for Orlando City, which is obviously now people are saying, "Hey, are we going to make the run for the Supporter Shield?" I'm starting to believe. I already believe. So I'm going to go all in, and I'm definitely going to say that I'm very happy that the club is doing superb, as well as the Orlando Pride that has shown not only resilience, but I mean the fastest goal in history um, yesterday, and then OCB clinching playoffs. So it's been an amazing week for Orlando in general as a city. So very excited for that. With me is John, Paola, and also I want to announce we're live on Instagram. So I want to say hi to everyone on Instagram right now that's watching us. The link for the stream, it's on the bio. Just click on it, drop us your comments, how you feel, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be on Instagram for about 15 to 20 minutes. We were going to read also your comments on Instagram. So drop us your insight, and we will love to hear what you have to say. This is obviously for you, for the City Beautiful. So, John, how are you, my friend? I know you're back in the pod. A fantastic week. How you been, my friend? Good to see you again.
I'm great, buddy. I had a very busy week last week. Actually, I work. People don't know, but I work for a theater company, and we opened a very big show on Friday night. We opened Nosferatu at the Renaissance Theater, so that
Ooh,
was a huge
that's a good
undertaking for
door.
me because it's a Halloween show. It's a big deal for us. So that was my Friday. It was exhausting and had a lot of fun celebrating opening night with them, and then Saturday night went to the City game, just expecting to enjoy a nice, regular game, perhaps some drama against Columbus. And there was a lot of drama, and that was a lot of fun. And then Sunday night, I went to the Pride game and saw even more drama and, got to see another win. So, like, it was, I don't want to say the perfect weekend, Luis, but it
It,
was,
it
it
was.
was up there. It was pretty damn good.
Yeah, not only that, you have Ramiro Enrique being considered to be, best. Well, actually, he wasn't. He was announced actually a few hours ago. He's been voted player of the match day for the MLS.
Yeah.
Thank you MLS for thinking of us for the first
And then
time.
the game day squad, match day
Yeah,
squad, right?
and,
With
and we
with
have
Ojeda.
Martin play a fantastic game, and there's a lot of positivity in the fandom, and I think that we need to keep it that way till the end of the year. So, Paola, how are you? Good to see you again.
Great to be here, guys. Sorry that I'm not on video, but I'm in Puerto Rico, but I'm here. Super excited about this episode because that was a heart attack game on Saturday, and I have a story that I need to tell you guys what I was thinking on Saturday, but we can talk about that a little bit later, but I'm super happy to be with both of you and our audience today. So, happy to be in the pod.
Thank you for everybody that's joining us on Instagram. Johnning, AJ Garcia, Parallel Park, Jaime Regalado, Josue. I want to say my friend Josue from Area Sports, Landing over Loser. Along came Dan, Mundo Football, Guti, Fabian, Dodger. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's read some comments here. Mark Rodriguez, I admit it, I was wrong. I left the match early. I will never ever do that again. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark. Okay, we're not gonna focus on that,
That's the
but
second person that's told me they left the match
yes,
early, and I said,
I
"Don't tell anybody that ever.
yeah,
That's
yeah, no, it's
embarrassing."
okay. We're
Don't
not gonna
tell.
we're not gonna we're not gonna put you on blast, my friend. Don't worry. JCBs, buenas noches, everyone. What a game, down to the wire. This is why I love this sport. Vamos Orlando. Thank you so much, Joshua Tall. I definitely believe Oscar Pereira deserves a new contract. Also, a great comeback by OC and a great win. GoldTube TV. Thank you so much, Pineda. I had hopes that there was one more goal at the end of the game, and I was able to record it. There you go, my friend. I'm so happy that you were able to enjoy this win with your family and Alonso. His name is Alonso, GoldTube's son. He plays for one of the academies. Actually, he could be a future star, a future lion. There you go, Joshua Tall. Also, Torres, Ojeda, and Enrique came up clutch. It says Papien, Elemi Densmore. He has the players bought into believing that they can do anything, and they have. I'm so happy, Emily. Thank you so much for being with us right now. Joshua Tall. Also, what are your thoughts on Luis Musi and Ricardo deserving a promotion? Well, I think that they should stay. Obviously, I will have to say some of the signings maybe didn't pan out the way they were hoping, like maybe Erjan Kara, you know what I mean? But it happens in the sport. I'm not gonna, I think they've done a tremendous job of getting some of the players that are vital, like Felipe. He had a monster game against Columbus. Ivan Angulo, I think it was great to see him back. So a lot of great call outs from those guys. Luke Munrock.
Well, I think a lot of people, Luis, are saying that they should all be like promoted up one right?
More.
Like within. So instead of just being renewing their contract, like they go, But I don't think Luis Musi can be promoted up anywhere. He's top of the top. So
he's ahead.
Ricardo, I think, also already
Yeah.
got promoted from scout up
he
to
already
like
got
technical director. Is he
technical
in now,
director.
right? So
Right.
that already happened. I think really we just want renew contracts. We don't.
Yes.
Promotion is not really.
I agree.
Needed. I don't think the guys need a promotion. They're at the top of where they can be right now.
Do think it'll be tough to catch Cincinnati. This is Luke Minock, but a home playoff should still be the focus and the goal. And winning our remaining games can get carried away with stuff out of our control. We'll talk about that. I mean, there's hope, We just have to wait for Cincinnati to totally go through a slump, which is tough, right? Omar Santiago, hola, señor Omar. Sitch Taylor, this Sunday is big versus Miami. Game, we have to win against New York and get some points, and Sunday get some more points too. Thank you so much, Sitch. Joshua Tall, yeah, they really have been doing a tremendous job. Hopefully we extend their contract. Yeah. So let's start with what happened in Columbus. Honestly, I believe we started very slow. I will say Columbus dominated some of the instances, and that's why they got 3 goals ahead. The defense, I think that the defense was not up to par in the beginning, in the first half especially. I mean, it was just, I think, what's his name? Rodrigo had a tough game, especially marking Cucho and some of them had a tough time marking some of the Columbus players. They were too fast, I believe, and Diego Rossi was having a field day, in my opinion. So what were your first thoughts, John, on this defensive chaos in the first half for Orlando City?
I mean, I tweeted after the 3rd goal that sometimes we kind of look like Swiss cheese back there, Sometimes teams just go straight through us, and Columbus are a very direct attacking team, and they kind of did that on a couple goals, especially the 3rd one. Schlegel, we've talked about it before. He has good games and bad games, and this is one of those where he made a lot of wrong decisions. He kept stepping up to try and close down the man, and Rossi basically saw that was happening, and the 3rd goal was all Rossi just reading that he stepped up too much forward, and Rossi got in behind, and it was an easy goal. So sometimes his positional awareness kind of lets him down, but also I think the whole back line didn't necessarily have the best game. A lot of people were talking about Dagger Dan. He didn't struggling a little bit, and so did Santos as well. I think it's just a case that Columbus have very good wingers. Like Gressel is he's one of the best wingers in the league, and Yeboah is extremely pacey, and you've got Cucho and Rossi. They're attacking with like 3 or 4 very pacey, very fast play, very direct attack, and that kind of caused problems for our back line, and that's how they just go straight through us at times. The good thing is we were able to score more goals than them, so it didn't matter. But on another day, that wouldn't be the case. So, defensively, definitely some lessons learned. But I don't think it's anything that Oscar will be super upset about. I think he'll just say, okay, this game, we had some weaker guys in there against some of the best attackers in the league, right? In Cucho, for example, and it just didn't pan out for them. But overall, we got the win, and that's what matters. So all is forgiven, and hopefully lessons learned for Schlegel, and maybe he'll think twice before he just steps up all the time.
Yeah, I mean, defensive issues were tremendous throughout the game. That's why Columbus was up 3-1, like you said, John. And having players like Diego Rossi, that they can beat you in the 1v1, and it showed. Julian Gressel, like you said. But switching to the positive, Pedro Galese, monster. 2 saves in the first half. I think a couple of saves also in the second half. Paola, what are your thoughts regarding El Pulpo? Do you think he has a fantastic game against the Crew?
Absolutely. He maintained us in the game, technically. Because if he didn't save those two important keys save, we were going to get a little bit screwed, even though that we pulled off the game. But the reality is, Columbus was pressing us since the first minute of the game. And we were not finding connect that ball to the forwards, to Ramiro. We were having problems in the first 45 minutes. We were having problems. That's the reality. And that my point in the beginning of the pod was, I have a story. I was watching that game with my dad, and I told him, if we continue playing like we are doing right now, we're not gonna win this. And my dad looked at me. He's like, be faithful. Come on, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. And I'm like, okay, fine. As soon as I left the room, Ojeda scored that goal. And I'm like, okay, I'm the bad juju. I need to turn off the game, but I didn't. But after that first goal, we were finding ourselves. But that 45, the 44 first 44 minutes, we were having problems. That's the reality. And Pedro Galese saved our back, because if he wasn't composed between those poles, between that net, we were gonna. I don't know the outcome, but it was gonna be not pretty for Orlando. So, like always, San Pedro Galese was there to save us, and he did.
Well, Jaboa had a couple of chances against Galese, and he delivered big time. His performance against Columbus have made a buzz in Peru. I mean, you're talking about coming from 2 very tough games against Paraguay and against Brazil. Almiron, Neymar, you know what I mean? And he was probably the best player in Peru in both games. And then flying over, kissing his kids and his wife, and then putting the same outfit pretty much. I think Peru is sponsored by Adidas, so he had the same kit, the same pink kit in Orlando. He had it against Brazil, and he was a monster. I was like, yo, is he playing for Orlando? Is he playing for Peru? So it was so weird to see him with that exact.
Taylor Twellman tweeted out about him. It's like, what's it like being an Orlando City fan? And we're like, because with El Pupo getting all these saves.
Yeah, and so then flying over, getting a little bit of sleep, and then boom, like that performance against Jaboa. He stopped Jaboa. He stopped Cucho on the 1v1. A couple of I mean, it could have been really bad for Orlando the first half. Like Columbus had the chance to maybe be up like 4 goals if it wasn't for Pedro. So I mean, definitely great job by Pedro. Now, I want to ask John. Wilder Cartagena obviously out because of the red card, and then we had a player like we've talked about him here in this show. We've said that maybe he's had a tough time getting used to maybe his role, here and there. Great person, great guy, but Felipe, I think this was his game, and he stepped up on Cartagena's shoes, and I believe he delivered. I don't know how you saw Felipe against Columbus. I think he was a pretty big part.
I think he definitely did more for sure. I think we saw that one ball that he sprayed out for Ojeda's goal, right? That pass right there that we're seeing on screen. He pushes that out to Angulo. Is a really nice ball that then comes back across for Ojeda to get the first goal for us. Um, I also saw some moments. He was moving a bit faster. Not, he's not the fastest, but I saw more movement from him, and just generally he was more involved than we've seen him before. I think that was my problem when I've seen him play before, Luis, was he just didn't seem to get involved that much. And today he was taking a bit more of, like, we know he's a leader. We know he is. And so we wanted to see that leadership on the field. And we saw more of that. And I think he shows that he can step in. It was surprising that it wasn't um, Junior, but I think that's just because Columbus is so strong that we needed to have an extra defensive midfielder in there instead of someone like Junior, who's perhaps more of like an attacking midfielder. But overall, I think he did a good job. I think that Cartagena will be needed back for like this week, especially with the Miami game. I think part of the reason that we conceded so many goals was because we were missing our double pivot. Like, Felipe is a good sub in, but he's no real replacement for the partnership that Arujo and Cartagena have got this season.
87% accuracy in passing for Felipe Martins. Definitely exceeding the mark he had in Austin FC when he was in Austin FC. One of the best games he's had this year, in my opinion. I want to say hello to him. I know that he was talking to Alonso a couple of times. Man, he's watched the show in the past, but definitely here.
He's a great guy, and I want to say that all the fans feel his passion.
Yeah,
I think that's what we like about him, is we feel like he's a great locker room guy, and we always want those around.
Yeah, definitely. He delivered big time. I mean, in the comeback, and we're gonna talk about the winning mentality of Orlando City in a little bit. It's a first. I've seen this happen in the past with Oscar squads, but this time, I mean, it looked like they truly said, no, you know what? There's 20 minutes left in the game. We're going to win it out. We're going to win it. And it didn't matter who was on the pitch. And it showed that they truly wanted to go ahead and get the W. Paola, I wanted to ask you about Facundo. Obviously, Oscar said on the post press conference that he was he thought he was not going to play this game, and he came from playing with Uruguay bruised in his leg. He had a contusion, and he thought he was not going to play, and eventually the player and him decided to hey, let's give him some minutes. He feels ready. He feels his leg was pretty swollen. And I believe he's definitely, in the beginning of the year, we were saying, hey, we need Facundo to show that he's worth the 13 million we paid for him, right? And I believe that he's done this already. I mean, the performance he had, he turned the game around completely. What are your thoughts regarding Facundo Torres's performance against Columbus, Paola?
Yeah, you just said it. He turned around that game in seconds. And you can see the quality of a player that he is, that even though that he had that swollen ankle or leg, he wanted to play. Like, that's the mentality of the team right now. The entire team. They want to play, they want to win. And as soon as he hit that field, everything changed in a positive, keeping change, right? Because Ojeda scored first, and then he scored the second one, which I was impressed. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wow, I think there's a possibility comeback of this game. And you can see like the quality of the player. Like, now, like you said, Luis, he was kind of not sleepy in the beginning of the year, but he was not finding his way with the team, because remember, the team changed players this year. It was not the same players that last year. So he had to adapt, he had to gel, he find his way how to connect with the entire team, and you can see how Facundo Torres changes the pace of the entire team and the game. So I'm happy that he went in, because I was like, we need Facu for the second half. We need Facu for the second half. I didn't know that he was injured, to be honest, but then I feel kind of bad when Oscar Pareja in the press conference said he picked up a little injury with Uruguay, but I'm happy that he's back, and hopefully, probably he can get a little bit rest for tomorrow or not. We can talk about that later if we're doing the starting 11 for not tomorrow, on Wednesday. I'm crazy. I'm cuckoo. But you can see the top quality player that he is, and he's demonstrating that he's a $13 million or more player, to be honest. So I'm happy for him that he's back, and I'm happy that he's making that impact to the team.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm really disappointed that he only got like not even 10 minutes with Uruguay. And within those 10 minutes, so you know the level of play in the CONMEBOL, he got a bruise in his leg. So imagine that in 10 minutes of play. So I'm hoping that this level of play that he's showing in the MLS translates to the national team. Because for him, it's an honor to play for Uruguay. So I know for him it's very important and for his family as well. So, but I mean, I think he's gotten it just like Pedro has gotten it. Switched, flipped the switch. I'm in the plane. I'm already flipped the switch to Orlando City mode. Like, you know what I mean? And I think we benefit of those switches because it showed today. Like after the third goal of Cucho Hernandez, Cucho came and he did the whole thing against the fans. He like flexed on the fans and did the celebration. Like Facundo came in and he's like, "Hey, it's okay, we got it. Calm down. Let's take a breather. Let's regain." Boom, like change the game, the pace of the game, and it actually talking to some of the players post game, it motivated the squad to see him on the pitch and to be have more of a leadership presence on there. So good for Facundo Torres. Now, I want to talk to you, John, about the resilience of this team. Right? I mean, you've been through so many OCSC games, it's not even real. Like, what can you say about just this massive display of not giving up? Because literally it was like, I'm not giving up. I'm not allowing myself to lose.
And it's funny, Luis, because this actually ties into another point that I was going to make, and Paul is going to be freaked out by this because I also was, in the stands at around the 45th minute or so, and thinking, well, it's almost halftime. I'm going to go get a beer, and I walked out, and Martin Ojeda scored a goal, just like
We're the
Paulo.
bad juju, John.
Yeah,
We're the bad
apparently,
juju.
So you
but
got to do it again, John.
the conspiracy goes on. You'll see, because so I come back, it's halftime. We've got the second half going, and then that third goal goes in from Hernandez, and I was like, okay, at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get a sandwich because we're losing 3-1. But better time to get a sandwich there is not. So I walk from this wall all the way down to the other end to get my chicken sandwich from the coop. By the way, if you haven't had that, really
delicious.
Excellent. Recommend.
Yes.
And as I'm standing there getting my sandwich, I hear a big scream, and Facu Torres scores a goal. So at this point, I'm like, should I even go back to the wall? Am I just bad juju? Should I stay away entirely? But I go back and I get to watch, the last 20 minutes where it was almost like inevitable, Luis. Like I've never watched it more confidently being like, not only we're gonna tie this thing, we're gonna win this thing. Just like Oscar was like, we're gonna win it. You could feel it in the stadium. And that sort of like 75th through, the end of the game, the just sheer will and determination of the boys it was evident. Like that goal from Ramiro went in, and all I was thinking was, we got 6 minutes, we're going to score another one, and we're going to make this thing 4-3. And that's not usually the mentality I'm going with Orlando City. In that scenario, usually we're chasing the game. I'm just hoping we can get a tie. The Cardiac Cats are usually there.
Yeah, me too.
Tie. They're not usually there getting the win. And today, on that day, it was the Cardiac Cats with the win. So And how loud it was, Luis. I mean,
Yeah,
I
no, it
don't
was
know if you
insane.
could probably hear it through the press
Yes.
box, but the wall at about the 88th minute, I don't think I've heard it that loud. I mean, the Open Cup final last year probably equals it, but even then, that was a full stadium. It sounded like it was a full
Well,
stadium,
let me
and
tell you,
everybody, the entire wall, the entire stadium was banging on the seats and
no,
screaming and
it was
shouting.
amazing.
And the
It was,
boys, shooting at the wall. Like I always say, Luis, you got to shoot at the wall that second half. We drove them and they fed off of us. And it was just inevitable. It felt like it was going to happen. And it did happen. And Oscar called it. And fair play. And Enrique made up for his losses, misses earlier in the game by getting, a one. And then that final goal was just, that picture of him jumping in the air with his shirt off, that says everything, right? That was
yeah.
an incredible moment. And anybody who wasn't there, sorry you missed an amazing game. And anybody who left early, never do that again. Learn your lesson,
Yeah,
please.
don't do that. I remember people would do that in 2017. Those were dark times. But
I mean, that was
right.
probably more justified in 2017.
Yeah, those were dark times. Those were the times where you miss Adrian Winter, and but
It
honestly,
did remind me of the the USL days a little bit.
yeah,
It kind of had that sort of like we're that team right now where we just win no matter what. So like we're finding the wins regardless.
no, not only that, like I go I go to I'm credentialed, where the outlet is credentialed by the league by Orlando, and we go to the press box, and it's a working press box. You're not supposed to cheer, and they're supposed to yell. But like honestly, when that fourth goal came with Ramiro, I want to say hello to Mikey Kennedy. I want to say hello to Jackie, to everyone. Everyone just went insane. Lucas, everyone just jumped like, oh my God, goal. Like, like we weren't really foreseeing this game to go this way. But we were so glad, because it's not just the boys, it's the whole operation, if you think about it. From the person that greets you at the door to the communications staff, all the way up to the people down on the pitch, like the photographers. I mean, it's a whole operation. So, I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, I think the vibes were out there. What about you, Paola? How do you lived it? I want to know.
Paula must be upset she wasn't there, Louise. She
Yeah.
hasn't said
So
anything, but deep down she's sad. I could tell.
I was kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. Every time that I have to miss a Orlando City game, I go sad. But the good news is that after I have a wedding on Saturday. After the wedding, I'm gonna go into a plane so I can see Orlando City game on Sunday. I'm not gonna miss that game. So, funny story. So my cousins picked me up. We went to a restaurant, and I was actually watching the game through my phone, and then Cucho made a goal, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm like, ugh, I'm gonna stop looking at this game because we're not this is not gonna end well. But then when Facu scored, then Ramiro scored, I was almost screaming at the bar. I hold off because I was the only one, watching a soccer game at the restaurant, and I was like, oh my god, and all my cousins looked at me, and I'm like, what? They were like, what happened? I'm like, they just scored, oh my god. And she's like, she's cuckoo head. But anyways, even though that I was not in the stadium, I felt the passion that the boys bring to the field, because that energy that they demonstrated on Saturday, we need to see that more often. And it's not that they're not energetic, right? But the magic that I saw on the field on Saturday was different from other games. So I see positive things for the future of Orlando City and future games. So I think we're knocking the door for that supportership. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I believe that Orlando um, just needs to keep playing at this level. I was all in that Orlando was gonna definitely try to win as many games at home as possible. Now we're going to play against NYCFC. I'm not trying to knock them down, but I mean, I think we are the better team now. We're still playing in a baseball field, which I feel like it's despicable for the MLS. But
I love that. It's like so New York to be like, hey, we
like
can't be in our
Joe,
baseball field, but we'll get another stadium while we need one. Oh, it'll also be a baseball stadium, though.
yeah, first it was Yankee Candle Stadium or whatever, Yankee Stadium, and now it's like City Field, which is what the Mets play.
Just, I don't just go play in a high school or something.
I
It's
know,
better than these
right?
baseball stadiums. Jeez,
They want like
But
a hybrid stadium, and that's not fair.
I have a
they're an embarrassment, but
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I have a feeling that we can definitely do our part to definitely get the 3 points there, and then come really motivated to definitely annihilate the Flamingos or the Herons or for Fort Lauderdale, because I believe that that's going to be the cherry on the cake for the season for Orlando. I mean, we might not win supporter shield, let's say, because Cincinnati will keep winning because they're a fantastic team, but we're gonna definitely stay hungry, right? Towards playoffs.
I think the supporter shield is. I think the 8 points is hard, but then
Right.
also if you look at Cincy's games, they're just gonna walk. So like they're playing Montreal, that's next,
Yeah, that's
that's
a
a
walk
win.
right
Then they're
now.
playing Charlotte at home,
That's
that's
a
a
walk.
win. Then they're
That's a
playing
win.
Toronto away,
That's a
that's a
win. That's
win.
a win.
Then New York at home, like the Red Bulls, that's a win.
Hmm.
The Miami and Atlanta are the only tough games left, and that's the last two games. So they could have clinched it by before that. They've got four easy games. So unless they really I mean, they haven't been doing well. Like they just obviously they lost to us and then they drew to Philly, but Philly are a good team. So a draw away to Philly is perfectly respectable result.
Since they clinch, they haven't played good. That's the reality.
I mean, they clinched playoffs. What I'm saying is they could clinch the title in the next
Correct.
four.
Yeah, the
That's
supporter
what I'm
Oh
shield.
yeah,
saying.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
True.
yeah. Like they only need to win a few more, and us not to win a few, or to pull away. If they make that gap of 8 points any bigger, it's theirs.
And
So we can't slip up. They have to slip up like multiple times, basically.
correct. They have to like go through
Yeah, they gotta like
three
let
three game
Charlotte
losing
and
streak.
Toronto beat them or something crazy
Yeah, they
stuff.
have to go through a 3 game losing streak for us to like and
Yeah,
us
they
win.
gotta really, what I would say, poop the bed, Luis.
Exactly. They gotta like truly choke, like Tottenham or like Arsenal in the
They gotta do the ultimate bottle job, as we say. A right bottle job.
but I am 110% for certain that we got a lot of depth, and it showed in this game against Columbus. Luca Petresso came in, I will say 6 out of 10. Great. He came solid. We haven't seen him in a while. He came poised, ready to definitely help out, marking some of the Columbus players so they don't get ahead. Then you have Jacqueline, which obviously he did not score, but he's red hot. I mean, you cannot deny that. And Oscar said it. You can't deny Jacqueline. I mean, the kid's like the top scorer in the MLS 2, I call it, right? So, you know, you gotta give him a chance. And I think that I mean, Angulo came off and then he came in and you didn't really see a difference. You still see Orlando push through in the attack. Mikey Holiday too. I mean, he's just gonna get better. I mean, yes, he showed that he kind of did a couple of bad passes here and there. Columbus went on the counter a couple times, but he's just now getting used to coming back and he's in full form. So we've seen what Mikey can do in the beginning of the year, and he was a solid starter, right, John? He was a solid starter.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought at the beginning of this year that this was going to be Mikey's year to break into the team. And I still think, like, I love Dagger. And I think that right now, Oscar is like, okay, I've got Dagger and I've got Mikey and I've got, Kyle Smith. I think he's looking at that for the rest of the year, his options. But going into next year, I think Mikey, could well be, the plan for him to be the starting right back. It depends what happens in the end of the season, right? We need him not to get injured again. We need him to have a good end to these last 6 games and run into playoffs, because Dagger is very good attacking wise, but I think Mikey's definitely better defensively. So if you were asking me, if Mikey was perhaps a little fitter, maybe he would have started against Columbus. So like maybe on Sunday we could see Mikey potentially starting instead of Dagger. Either way, we've got a tight schedule now, right? We've got a game on Wednesday. This is 3 games in a week again. So I see no problem with bringing Mikey to start one of these 3 games instead of Dagger at the right back position. And he looked hot when he came in. And I think he's just a natural right back in the sense that Dagger isn't, right? Like he just wants to run up that right wing. Dagger, will go everywhere and can do, the inside inverted fullback kind of role, whereas Mikey is more of like a straight up wing back. So I think it's different things from different guys. It was interesting to see Dagger. I think he moved into the midfield, if I'm not mistaken, when that happened. Like we said, he's the Swiss Army knife, right? So he maybe, Oscar would like the idea of being able to use Dagger as a super sub in the mid for Wilder or Cesar instead of having him, have to play right back if Mikey's ready. So it might be that he's going to come back and claim his spot. We don't know, but I expect a rotating between those two. One of them starts, one of them comes on for like the rest of the season. I would expect that to happen.
No, I wanted to go ahead and just talk about this because we're talking about New York now, and we're going to be focusing. We're going to do our lineup for New York. But I want to focus on this for everybody that is watching. Thank you so much. Everyone that's listening, thank you so much. We need to stop doing this right here. Look, and I want to give thanks to the English Lion.
Was this him?
Yeah, the English Lion.
Yeah.
So he took this shot, and I'm gonna use it here in the pod. I want to give him credit. So thank you so much, the English Lion. So
this is exactly what I was referencing.
So this is exactly what we need to stop doing, especially with teams that have fast attackers. I mean, Rossi showed in LAFC. I mean, he beat Raul Ruiz-Diaz's golden streak a couple seasons ago when he played in LAFC. And LAFC won a championship. He's going back to that level for Columbus. I mean, you can definitely see. We cannot defend like this against a player like Rossi. And this is what's going to definitely make or break us. I don't know what are your thoughts there, John, and then we'll go from Paula.
Well, no, I already said it. I mean, he's a very like on the front foot kind of center back, right? He wants to go forward and win that ball early. And if you get an intelligent striker who knows that he's going to do that and watches him do it a few times, then they learn and they just let him run towards him and draw the man in. And, I'm sure, Luis, you play FIFA and Paulo, you too. It happens to me all the time. I love to fly that center back in like Schlegel.
I'm telling you, I'm not happy with the rankings.
Yeah, so there we go.
How come Galese is a 73?
Oh, I haven't quite looked at the 54.
So Galese, guys, is a 73. Galese is a 73, and then the third keeper for Peru is a 74. Could you believe that?
That's not cool.
That is not cool.
That's crazy.
Right? That is insane how Galese is not like ranked a little higher than that. I'm just saying. FIFA, you're not going to be able to sell your game. Well, it's not FIFA anymore. It's EA. What's it called?
Something.
FC24, right? You're not gonna be able to sell your game if you're gonna rank the players like that. I'm just saying. I mean, Galese could be right now if Orlando goes for a run, and let's say Orlando. I mean, I was interviewed, and I want to say hello to. There was an NYCFC blog that interviewed me that they were gonna do a preview for the game that's coming up. They asked me, what are your expectations? I said, I want to go through second round of playoffs. So I want to make a playoff run. So we're not gonna make if we're gonna make a playoff run, you better rank our players right. You know what I mean? Yeah, you better rank. You better recognize Facundo. You better recognize Pedro. You better recognize the players that are making a.
I mean, they MLS. I'll send it over to you. Here you go, Luis, and you can throw it up there. They put Ojeda on this graphic as a 76. So, but then I'm wondering, surely Torres should be ranked a little higher than Ojeda.
Right.
And why wasn't he featured in the top 10? I guess his top 10 shooting. I guess Ojeda's
Right.
got amazing shooting, but Torres is not in top 10 shooting apparently.
Right. I mean, they're both in the team of the week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, obviously, I mean they're both in team of the week, but I can't believe this Dennis Buanga is in the team of the week when he totally I'm telling you, this guy does not deserve to be in the team of the week. He goes and his team loses against Inter Miami. He goes and asks for an autograph and a freaking picture. That's so despicable, man. That's you don't do that in soccer. I'm sorry.
And didn't pass the ball to Vela, that he was wide open.
Bella.
Oh, don't even.
Yeah, that's insane.
Just would have beat Messi.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm gonna put that. What you just sent me right here. Here you go.
Yeah, sorry, I was talking about FIFA and the card ranking. So Ojeda's in there. Not that one. Did I send you the wrong one? Go up in the tweet or down. Go on that.
Oh, right here, right here, right here.
Yeah, there you go. Go up still. Further up, you'll see him. There he is.
Right here.
Martin.
Look. I'm telling you. Look. This is skewed. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Why is this skewed? Obviously, Messi's Messi. Okay. I think we can definitely agree with that. Messi's
yeah.
Messi. Right, Messi's Messi. But Andriusi, yeah, he was the best player in Russia. Okay, but I don't think he has performed in his best of his ability in the U.S. Vela, I would say just like Messi, he's a great player. But Rui Diaz only has 4 goals the whole year. Why is he 77?
I mean, this is the thing. Kara probably would have been in this top 10 shooting if we hadn't just sold him. It's not on form of real life, It's just
I just
how
think it's
FIFA ranks
exactly
their stats as how they ability to do something.
How's Chicharito 77?
I mean, it's just that way. But I'm sure we'll be lower ranked than some of these other teams. I think there is a little bit of that. I think Facu should be a high 70s, perhaps an 80s player, right? And if that's not the case, then it should be questionable. But anyway, not everybody plays FIFA.
But you called it, John, because you said, hey, Martin has that foot and he always shoots, and at some point he's gonna get a couple like that.
That was the 2 of our goals against Columbus just came that delivery for the final goal. I mean, his left foot it's just such a dangerous ball from some set pieces. I really think he's from corners and free kicks. It causes such a problem. And it wasn't even that we were winning them outright headers. It was just scrappy. They were landing and they didn't know what to do and they panic. But the keeper kept trying to come out to get it, but it's got so much curve on it. He doesn't know where it's going to land. He can just put it on a dime is the way I would describe it. And he does it so consistently every time. So I would almost say he's got to be in the starting lineup just for his ability on a set piece.
For sure. And I would say that, now we have Nycfc next, and we're going to be doing our lineup right now. I'm going to pull up
Did we read all the comments, Luis?
Yeah, let's read all. Yeah, just some of the comments.
I can't remember where we got to.
Yeah, I think we have a couple here. I forgot Holiday even subbed down. It says VW Hutch. Thank you so much. Pedro Galicia thankfully came up clutch with his saves many times during the game, says Joshua Tall. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Etromic says Pulpo. Thank you so much. Stitch Taylor. We want to see big Orlando fans. Everyone knows this Sunday. We're leaving at 4 o'clock. Tailgate opens at 5. There you go. They know what tailgate. Let's go, Orlando. Thank you so much. Joshua Tall, I think we definitely need to score first and score a few goals versus NYCFC and versus Inter Miami. I do agree. Do you think Ojeda starts on Wednesday or possibly on Sunday?
Mm.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
I mean, that's part of our lineups we're going to do next.
Yeah, I
I
have a.
Oh, go ahead, Louis. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say probably we can see a lot of rotation for Wednesday, but when we say that, Pareja prove us wrong, right? But in a good way, not in a bad way, right? So I really don't know how the formation is gonna bring us on Wednesday because it's a huge game on Sunday, but at the same time we need the 3 points for Wednesday. So this is gonna be an interesting conversation what we're gonna do right now. So let's do the lineup, Lee. Sorry to cut you on there.
No, it's okay. Well, the good thing about Orlando right now is that they're not starters are performing at a high level. So Felipe, Ramiro, some of the Mikey, right?
I mean,
Uh,
Oscar already rotated the lineup for the
right,
Columbus game, right? And that would be like out of these 3 games, I would be like, well, Miami and Columbus are the tougher opponents.
right,
So, and then like Facu coming in, obviously he was slightly injured, but if he wanted to, he could have started Facu, right? And he chose not to.
right.
So we're having a fresh Wilder come back. I think the rotation doesn't worry me because we've got guys, like you said, Luis, that are stepping up
And then you got
on the
Junior
fringes.
Urso.
Yeah, you got Urso. Like we've got Enrique, arguably like Duncan's going to come back. Is Duncan going to start or is Enrique now like in the starting 11?
So for
So I
for
think
my
that's a great problem to have. We've got guys that, I don't think there's anybody in the team that I would put in right now and I'd be like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with him in, right? Like I think everybody can play and I would be like, okay, it's great. Let's see what you can do this game.
so
It's about saving the guys from Miami, though. I think that's the bigger game.
let's read Nick's comment. Just joined. The minimal formula to make playoffs was win at home and steal points on the road. OCSC has not done that this year. Insane, we're the best club in the league. Well, sir, enjoy it.
Well, the home form wasn't great, but now it is.
No, it is.
Now it's
I mean,
now like second half of the season, it's like a fortress. First half of the season, no. Like, yeah. I mean,
agree.
remember when Charlotte came and beat us? Like, that's not gonna happen now.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about. I mean, you also don't want to be like, I'm sorry, but you don't want to be a freaking Debbie Downer about it. I mean, I mean, right now, we are unbeaten in the last 5 matches. We've earned victories in 4 of them. We've notched our 100th season in the MLS since 2015. We're in an unbeaten 11-game streak. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be like, bum, 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 bum. You don't want to be like that too. You know what I mean? So it's good to analyze, but it's not good to overanalyze. Because when you overanalyze, then that's when you fail. I mean, you have to enjoy the game. You cannot just let you know these numbers to flaunter. You know what I mean? You have to make sure that you're just happy with where you're at right now. Orlando should not be the best club on the road. Should not be, but they might be. And if they
We are the
are,
best club on the road, I believe, right? I mean, I think what he's saying,
Yeah.
Luis, is that he can't believe it that we are
well,
now so good that we are incredible at home and the best away team.
Nick, believe it.
Welcome to. I mean, sometimes I pinch myself. Like this weekend, I was like, wait a minute, who are we right now, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I was
what's
still hyped
happening?
this morning, John. I
I'm
was still
still
hyped at
hyped.
work and everything.
I think I was the most hyped for this podcast I've ever been for a podcast, just so I could keep talking about how awesome that win was. Like, it's just so cool. I mean, it's a moment right now, and we've got to enjoy it because there were
we
dark
have to
times
enjoy
to
it
get
as
to this
a fandom.
point. So let's all celebrate. And if we can be messy on Sunday,
That's gonna be the cherry on the cake, and
Louise,
people do not realize this.
that would be the
This
best.
is gonna be the cherry on the cake. this is going to be the renewal of Oscar Pareja. There's a lot of insiders that are not really accredited with the club that are saying that Poppy's going to leave no matter what. He just has to win the MLS. If he wins the MLS, then yeah, he'll stay. Wrong. This is the game coming up. If Orlando proves, I mean, you have to understand the press Orlando's going to get if they beat Messi. All over the world. You go to Bangladesh, Orlando City will be on the front cover in the sports section. You go to freaking Machu Picchu, Orlando City will be in the front cover in the sports world. Like, it's going to be insane for the club. The press are going to get so. And I have a feeling that based on what happened back in Fort Lauderdale, the boys are not going to let that happen. You know, they're not going to let that happen.
Karma is gonna serve on Sunday. I'm telling you.
You know what I mean? Atlanta came close, but without Messi.
I mean, it just shows you, doesn't it? It's night and day. And also, I got to say, anybody who is upset that he didn't go to Atlanta, I mean, I tweeted about this, but you're not a Messi fan if you think he was going to play on turf.
Yeah, he's not going to play.
And you don't understand the world of like international soccer. Like Ibrahimovic, when he came here, he didn't go play on turf. Neither did Drogba. Neither did, anybody else of that level. And Messi is way bigger than they are.
Rooney did.
Well, yeah. Rooney may be an exception to the rule, but
yeah, Rooney's scrappy.
There's a long list
Rooney's
of
scrappy.
Big ex-European players that came over and would not travel to turf, and we always knew that was going to be the case with Messi. So there's some speculation about whether he's going to travel as well on Wednesday. They didn't move the game. We all thought they were going to move our game because they're playing 3 games in a week. So it's going to be interesting with him and when they rest him and when they play him.
I agree. Let's read some comments. Emily Dinsmore. Thank you so much, Emily. This reminded me of the late win over Portland. I agree. I agree with Emily.
I think it was the same score.
Exactly. She's fantastic.
Yeah, 4-3.
She's fantastic. Joshua Tall. Do you think AC will be back this week or soon? Well, AC is getting better. I don't think he'll be back this week, according to my sources. They won't be back this week, but we have Duncan.
Dare I suggest someone else apart from Schlegel perhaps getting a chance if he's not back.
Schlegel is going to be.
Or maybe not for Miami. Maybe Schlegel, is the only possibility for Miami. But maybe we give Salim or Kibunguchi a chance for this New York game.
Kibu has it. I think Kibu has it, but we'll see. But I do believe that AC is not back yet. But in the first half, we did not see like John was saying. We didn't see Rodrigo showing strides. But I have a feeling that he'll get a little better.
He's like two-faced, it's like two different Schlegels. Exactly. It's like either the Schlegel that turns up and just kills it and you're like, you're an animal and we love you, or it's the Schlegel that makes mistakes that cost us.
Correct. Against really tough.
And I love the guy. He's so passionate. You see how crazy he is all the time. And he's like, I don't know what he did to the ref. At one point, it looked like he kissed the ref. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
That was really strange.
I didn't.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was like a foul or something, and he like went right up to the ref, and then they had I don't know. It almost looked like he kissed him on the forehead from far away. But he's got so much passion, and I don't want anyone to think that I don't like Schlegel because I love Schlegel. Schlegel is frustrating because he makes the same mistakes and it kills us.
No, we're talking true. It's not that we hate the player. We love Rodri, but the reality is he did the exact same error a couple of times. Like the screenshot that Luis shared, he did it way before in the beginning of the game. So it's just the reality.
He's done that in multiple games throughout the season.
Exactly.
He's done that in multiple games, and especially I believe that against Messi, you cannot do that. And I know the way they've performed against Columbus, which is truly not really a rival. Like it's not really like I don't feel it's. I know that Columbus people feel like this, like we are like a rival for them. We're really not. Like they feel like this is like a rivalry between Columbus and Orlando. There's really not, in my opinion. But
I mean, I feel like I really hate them. So is that a rivalry, or is that
so
just
you hate
I
them?
disdain them? I feel like if you look back, Luis,
You
we
don't
have had
care
some
about
like
them.
controversial games against them,
I
and so
feel
some people have like animosity towards Columbus, which I'm one of those people, and therefore that it's more of like a rivalry of hatred than like a geographical rivalry.
probably. I mean, I feel more animosity against Atlanta and against Miami.
I mean, Atlanta for sure. I'll have Miami, but all of them.
Miami now because the whole thing with Messi and the whole how the league is behaving with that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
You
think
know,
for me,
I
it's
mean,
like
you're talking
Atlanta,
about.
Miami, Columbus are my
I
top
mean,
three
and
most
just to
hated.
say it, just to be clear, and I know if Paula agrees with me, Orlando went through a comeback of 4-3. They were at the bottom of Apple TV right here, like around the bottom. And then what you had on Apple TV when you log in is watch out, man. Inter's comeback story to the on the road towards the playoffs. I'm like, and I'll be honest, Inter has the lesser chance to make the playoffs, especially now that Atlanta beat them. It's almost non-existent. So it sucks. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I feel like it sucks. I know what are your thoughts, Paula, about that.
No, it sucks. And also they were featuring Atlanta win over Miami more than our game. That our game was more interesting than their game, you know? I was like, really? You're gonna feature Atlanta now? And Almala, oh my god, Almala, the superhero of Atlanta United and not us? Okay, fair play. I was impressed that Ramiro Enrique was player of the match day, to be honest. Since when we haven't seen a lion on that thing? Tell me,
Exactly.
since when? It's crazy. I
It's
I don't even remember when we had a lion it featured in the match day thing.
I mean,
So
Torres is in it like every week usually.
usually, but to vote, he's never picked. So now I don't know, people are noticing us or MLS is noticing us more. Ugh, it's just BS. I don't know.
I
Like
mean, I
I
would
get
put
pissed.
Columbus up there as one of the better teams in the league right now. Like they are in very good form as well. So I feel like we've just beat three of the best teams in the league in a row.
But for sure, Matt Doyle said it, and Matt Doyle is not one of the biggest fan of Orlando City, and now he's praising us. So I don't know about that, but it's just that I don't know why MLS hates Orlando City, to be honest.
all right. Let's do some
Oh, we
comments.
could go on forever about that.
Oh yes, we
No,
can.
no, I agree. I agree. Emily Dinsmore, if I could only choose one, I would rather be Messi than win the cup. I mean, I
Oh,
agree with you.
that's true hatred of Miami right there.
I agree with you, Emily. I mean, if we cannot win the cup, that's fine.
I'd rather take the cup because Messi will go away and the cup
Well,
will
yeah,
last
I
forever.
agree. I agree. Of course, I'll take the cup, but I mean, it's going to be
But
tough
I appreciate your
competition.
passion, and I do really want revenge.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just depends if they call it fair game, but we're getting into later in the
exactly.
week topics here, Luis. We're always tempted to talk about Miami, but we got to talk about New York first.
And then it says, I'll choose winning over the Cubs as VW Hutch. Thank you so much. Lewis, I want OC to target Collins in the offseason as on a center back. We can play rather than just having Rodrigo since we don't have any other center back besides Rodrigo when Robin or AC are hurt. Well, I have a feeling, and this is just my feeling. This is not the feeling of John or Paula or the club, but my feeling is that maybe AC may be, I mean, 2 injuries in one season. That tells you that it's probably he's not going to continue in Orlando. I'll be honest with you. Collins will be a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. He's right now in one of the biggest teams in Greece. This is AEK. AEK. I think it's AEK.
AEK.
AEK. Yeah. So they're gonna be. He's gonna be playing Conference League this year. So I don't know if he's gonna be. I think he has a year contract or a 6-month contract. So it's up to if he wants to come back to the league. I mean, he was a top defender in the league when he was in the league. So, but right now he's in Greece. So there's really nothing we can do about that. Sitch Taylor, internet. Orlando City fans, we are leaving at 4 o'clock and tailgate at 5. Please come quick this time. Thank you. Let's go City. Thank you so much, Sitch. Nick Swearingen, we are number 1 in PPG on the road and 13th at home. There you go. Sitch Taylor, let you know, City Fangs, we're leaving 4 o'clock. Tell you at 5. Let me know, go City. There you go. Thank you so much, Sitch. So let's do the lineup against New York City. So we got Galese, guys, on goalkeeper, obviously. What will be your four in the back? John.
Ooh.
Will you start Mikey or will you?
I think it depends which one you want to
Dagger
start on Sunday, and then you start the opposite. I think Mikey's going to get the start now.
Yeah, me too. I believe.
And Dagger is going to be saved for Sunday, and then
I believe
Dagger will come on at like 60th minute. I think they're just going to switch off now.
Yeah,
one starts, one comes on until one of them shows the Oscar that I think Dagger has still got it. I think until he doesn't, right? Like Mikey has to really come in,
or
and
it might be
reclaim
Kyle
the spot,
too,
or Duncan needs the. I think Kyle is. I don't think we're going to see much of Kyle left in the season.
Okay.
I love Kyle, but the thing about him was he was always defensively solid. In this season, he hasn't been as defensively solid. So what is he offering that Mikey and Dagger Dan in that position don't bring you, right?
So we're gonna see.
It's a question of assets. They're much more attacking than he is. So I think it's going to be Dagger Dan, and then it's going to be Rodri. I think it's going to be the same back four. Rodri and
Jensen,
and Santos.
Do you feel the same, Paola?
I agree.
Oh no, I've gone for Dagger Dan, not Mikey starting. Sorry, Luis.
So you're gonna start with Dagger.
Yeah, start with.
Oh
sorry.
no,
I went the wrong. I'm completely confusing myself. Start with Mikey. Bring Dagger.
I was gonna say. I'm like
save Dagger for Sunday. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Save Dagger for Sunday to start then. So different back four. Mikey comes in. And then I think it's got to be. We got to have Cartagena coming back in, right?
Yeah.
Just to get some minutes, even if he doesn't play the whole game. I'm sure he will actually, because he'll be rested.
So you got Wilder right here, and then you have are you gonna have Cesar?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a tandem right there. I think, and plus, not only that, but like they both had. I mean, Cesar had a great
They're
game.
both rested as well. They don't need rotation.
And then right in the middle, I'll say you'll see Maudi, I think.
Yeah. Again, he's another one that's been bringing it off at the 60th minute to keep him fresh.
Probably going to have Facu here, and you're going to have Ivan.
Ooh. I think Ojeda's going to start there.
You feel Ojeda will start against Facu? You don't think Facu will start?
No, I don't think Anguilla will start.
Oh, you don't think Anguilla will start? Okay, well.
Do you notice Ojeda was playing left wing?
Yeah, he did.
And so if Facu can play right wing and Ojeda can play left wing.
And then right up top, I know for a fact that Duncan is ready.
I think Paula probably doesn't agree on that one. I think
Ramiro will start.
It's a push.
I think Ramiro is hot right now, so let's give him the chance.
I have a feeling that Ramiro's going to start.
You could see Ramiro at left wing and Duncan up top.
Mm,
True. Do you really think Facu is gonna start, even though that he has a swelling, like a swollen ankle?
I mean, if he doesn't, it'll be Ojeda on the right, which we haven't seen in a while.
Ojeda on the right, Ramiro on the left, and Duncan up top. I would like that actually, and then you just save Facu and um, Angulo to come on, make an impact. There's so many options with those attacking. I feel like the back line
No, I
it's
have a feeling. I have a feeling.
pretty
I mean, you're
obvious,
talking
and the
about that
midfield it's obvious, but the front three
Facu's
could be any.
injury. Facu's injury is just a bruise, so I'm gonna take it as that. I mean, he's a professional player. I mean, a bruise is a bruise. Um, it's not a tear. It's not. So I have a feeling Facu's gonna play. I mean, it is our chance to steal 3 points on the road, and then maybe in the second half, maybe take Facu out and bring someone else. You know what I mean?
Do we feel like anybody needs a rest out of those guys? Like, apart from Facu, like anyone else you feel like would maybe do we want to save for Miami that perhaps Oscar doesn't want to start
I
this
mean,
game,
I will say Santos because
potentially? Yeah, he's played for a
He's
while.
been playing the
But
whole
we did just have
season.
international break and Santos didn't play, right? So
No,
everyone's
of
just come
course.
back from international break. So it's not like we only played one game before this run of
Right. Well,
three.
Petrasto did really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It could be interesting, but I think Ojeda made a claim last game, right? Like it's
Yeah, I
been
have a
figuring
feeling
out
that
where Ojeda goes. And so if Ojeda can play left wing and Faco can play right wing, then I'm thinking that maybe Angulo finally is going to have to.
some rest.
Yeah, I mean, I think Oscar would also prefer to have Angulo. Like he's going to want his guys who work harder for him on defense for Miami. So I think if anything, like Angulo is more of an asset for the Miami game than he is for the New York game. So maybe, I don't know. It's interesting to think. I mean, Paolo, what do you think that front three would be if it was you, or if you're going to predict Oscar?
We
That's the
can't
question,
predict
right?
off.
Predict Oscar. I don't know what your opinion. I want you get in Oscar's head. What does he think?
Um, I think Angulo will start regardless. Like, I don't know. I have that gut feeling that Ojeda will come from the bench for some reason. Um, I don't mind this front three, to be honest. I like it. Um, it's just a tough question because you try
Well, and then it's
to
Duncan
think
to
like
consider, right?
Oscar. What was that, Luis? Sorry, John.
There's Duncan to consider as well, like Ramiro. Then like arguably Ramiro got his 2 goals from the left
Correct.
wing. Like I think Ramiro is better from the left wing than a striker.
Yeah, and if you
So
and he did actually play a little bit before his goals, like in the first half, he tried that way, like the left wing, to go down
yeah,
with the ball. I totally
I think
agree.
if Faku's fit and Oscar wants to play him, then Faku starts regardless.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then
That's
that left wing right now is a toss up. Like it could be Ojeda, it could be Angulo, it could be Ramiro.
I don't
Honestly, I
mind
think it
Ramiro,
could.
but
I
the real
wouldn't mind
question
Ramiro there. I think he did very well, and it would be a shame not to reward him with more minutes after that performance.
Yeah, I think Ramiro may probably get the start just to give Duncan maybe come in the second half and see what he can do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
maybe we'll do the same thing again. Ramiro start up top, let Duncan come off the bench, and instead of Jack Lynn, and put Ramiro on the left wing. Who knows? It's a hard one. Usually we've been able to predict the lineup, but this is,
tried. We
it's
tried, and
Oscar's thinking about what to do, who to rotate. Like this week, Miami is such a huge game. Arguably you want to rotate now, right? Rotate for this game.
That's
it's a
right.
tough question.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a good starting 11. You know what I mean? And in the case of Facu may not be able, and we want to save him for Miami, you can definitely. I mean, but I have a feeling that Pareja will still put Facu. I mean, Facu wants to play every game. You know what I mean?
Like
I mean,
Faku, you just give give him 60 minutes and take him off if you're worried. Like he's plenty fit enough. He could play 90 and then play another 90 and still be fine.
Correct. It says Emily Dinsmore. Do you bench Jansen for NYCFC? He's on 4 yellow cards. Oh wow. And then that's the case. Yes, I would.
Yeah, well, and then
Abdi
then you're
Salim.
playing Salim and Schlegel as a center back duo.
Yeah, correct. I do agree. Abdi Salim. Before Sunday night, it says Sunday morning to wear an Orlando City shirt before descending night. There you go, descending night. Let you know, City fans, we're leaving at 4 o'clock. Tailgate at 5. Right, Paola? The tailgate?
If I barely make it to Orlando,
Yeah.
yeah.
You better hope there's not a hurricane at the end of the week. You're
Oh, no,
stuck in
no,
Puerto
no.
Rico.
No, I arrived to Orlando at 6 a.m.
Wow.
I have a red-eye flight, so.
See, I took a staycation this week specifically so I couldn't possibly be on a plane and miss this game. So
To save that
I'll be
energy.
coming back from, very near to Orlando.
I totally understand, and I feel like Emily is right. I feel like if that's the case, I mean, Jansen is a tandem on the back line. It'll be the time for Abdi Salim to pull through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, New York aren't like they just drew 0-0 to the Red Bulls, who are not great either. And the Red Bulls kind of out, in the stats, it looks like they have the better game, more XG, more chances than New York, and New York City FC were the home team. So they got Santi Rodriguez and, some guys that can cause problems like, Pellegrini. Remember him from when he was playing. They got Andres Pereira in midfield, ex-Orlando City, James Sands. I'm not really quite on the form we're on right now. This should be a very I'm not going to say the word easy, but it should be a simple job. Paula, what do you think prediction wise for this one? What would you go for?
Ooh, we're gonna score. They're not gonna score. It will be a nil. Um, I'm thinking. I will say 3-0.
You're gonna go straight 3-0.
Yeah.
And who would your scores be? You're gonna have
Fac-
on the
Faco's gonna
Paco
score.
scores every game.
Yeah, Faco is gonna score for sure. And I think he's on the Golden Boot contented, if I'm not mistaken, because he already have 12 goals this season, and I don't remember the list, but the last person in that list had 12 goals. Can you imagine that he could be in that list if he continues scoring?
He should be.
I mean, Hani Mukhtar has 14, so he's not that far.
Yeah.
From
I
Hani.
mean, he's getting up there. And I think that's the thing. At the end of the season, if they're not talking about Facu in that sort of MVP range or, then I think it's a shame because he really is now showing that he's up there with your, Cucho Hernandez's and these other guys like Hani Mukhtar and
Almada, that I don't.
Almada, Messi, for example, even right
Acosta.
in the stats, right, and Ojeda as well. Straight, I mean, that's something I don't know if you saw, Paula, the tweet that was came out about Ojeda and his stats from the MLS Communications. He's assisting. He's up there now with I think 10. He's quietly putting in these stats. And that's from the bench and the amount of minutes he's had. He's really producing at a rate that he wasn't at the beginning of the season. And I'm happy because it was a little bit worrying for Ojeda how he was going to fit and gel. And now I really felt like that connection between him, Enrique, and Facu, like that third goal where it's like one pass to the other, and then Facu put it in. That was really, really nice. And for me, it showed that they're in sync now, right? They understand each other. And Ojeda is now fully in sync with Torres on the field, and they don't seem awkward in each other's way, and Enrique too. So I think it's all starting to gel and mesh, and the way they just flow off each other is so free flowing and beautiful.
I do agree. So I want to dive in, John, into the supporter section jersey situation real quick.
Oh, quickly before we go to that, Luis, Paula did her prediction.
Sure.
She said 3-0 with
Against New
Facu
York?
getting goal. And did you have anyone else, Paula, or was it all Facu? Was this a Facu hat
No,
trick?
it's not all Facu. I wish it was all Facu because I need to see that
The
hat
Facu
trick.
hat
Come
trick,
on,
yeah.
guys. Come on. No, I believe Enrique will do another one.
Enrique, yeah.
Yeah.
So
What do you have, Luis?
I have Orlando 2-0. I have Orlando 2-0. And maybe another brace from Ramiro. Let's hope.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd go 3-1 because we love a 3-1 away win. And I think Duncan is going to come back off the bench and get one.
Let's hope.
I think he's going to come back with fury. So I'm going to go Facu, Enrique, and Duncan.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Now, I do want to say that when you go to the supporter section, especially against Miami and any other team, you have to represent Orlando City. National teams do not count. So if Galese is Peruvian and you wear an approved shirt, I mean, unless it says Galese, I will say that maybe let it slide, but still you cannot wear it. You have to wear purple. Like, purple is your color, is your supporter section, is Orlando City. Come wearing your jersey or a purple shirt but the colors of the club. You cannot wear, you
or
cannot
just
wear
like nothing, like white, black, like just wear
exactly
nothing, a plain non-soccer anything. If you want to support Messi and you bought a ticket and it's in the wall, and first of all, I wouldn't encourage that. But second of all, if you are going to do it, you got to do it in plain clothes or something that's nondescript. And I had one in front of me in the game in Columbus already. So,
oh, you did? You had a guy that
yeah.
came with his.
There was somebody in front of me with a Messi jersey. I saw a few others. So, we'll talk about that more later in the week. But I think it needs to be a priority for Sunday. Huh?
An Inter jersey?
No, Argentina Messi jersey.
But
I've seen the Inter Messi jersey in the club. I've seen them around the stadium. I've just seen Inter Miami jersey. Like there was one guy was sitting in a regular seat last game with the Inter Miami Messi jersey on. And he might have been. Some people were shouting some things at him, and
I'm sure.
I mean, I think it's your choice, right? I think if you're going to do that, I don't think people should be aggressive to each other, but you might get the odd comments. And maybe that's deserved, right? Like maybe you know what you're doing. So I think that if you want to come see Messi, I get it. You're going to be a Messi fan. It makes sense. Just you're not welcome in the wall. That's all.
Of course. I mean, and guys, I'm gonna say it in español también, so people can understand, because I think it's important. Gente, por favor, con todo respeto y con todo cariño y con todo corazón, no la caguen. El lugar de hinchas de Orlando es solo para Orlando. Tienes que usar el color del equipo, que es morado. No vengas con tu camiseta de Messi, de Inter Miami, porque te van a votar. Y vas a perder ese dinero que has ganado, que te ha costado mucho, mucho sudor de tu frente. I'm telling them, please do not feel like it's easy for you to come to the supporter section and just wear your Messi jersey or wear your Argentina jersey like it's nothing. Only purple is allowed in the supporter section. You have to support Orlando. It's a supporter section for support to Orlando, not to any other club. So, like, you wouldn't do that in your own country. You don't go to Boca supporter section and with a River jersey. You just don't do that. Just don't do that.
I mean, I feel like maybe, Luis, there should be an argument to say that, for these derby games, MLS should start employing home and away sections. Like there should be, you know, if all the Messi fans should be put together in one place, they'd be happier that way instead of spread around all over the stadium, right? It's something that don't have to deal with in this country because the games are everything's so far apart. But for a game like this, I think I don't want to see any problems, and I hope we don't see any problems on Sunday. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all these Miami fans and Messi fans mixed in with our crowd.
We came a long way from that logo right here. I remember that logo. I have a magnet from that era still.
Paula, did you ever come to a USL game back in the day?
No, I
That's
was
okay. We
not.
will hold it
I was
against you.
not. I was not living on the state. I was
You
not
weren't
a
I'm
resident.
here.
holding
That's
it
the
against you.
acceptable answer. You'd be like, I
Yeah.
literally
If
was not
not,
here.
I would have been there hearing the boys. Believe me.
Well,
I
I,
remember.
I just posted this, Luis, because the era we're in now, like I said, reminded me a lot of the days when we used to dominate in USL. Like we're dominating right now, and it's been a long time since we've been one of the top teams of the league, and it's great to see it again. So shout out to
Yeah,
anybody who remembers those days and winning all those titles back then.
yeah, I do. I do remember it was so easy to go to Wide World Sports and just and I remember the magnets. I have a magnet. I have the original logo magnet, and I'm hoping at some point, honestly, like they should have a retro jersey. Like that has to happen. I mean that first kit needs to come back. That was epic. I mean, Orlando City has a lot of history. A lot of people miss that, but it has a lot of history. I mean, all USL champs, several years taking names in USL, and now definitely taking names in MLS. So it's definitely exciting, especially for you, John. It should be like double special for you than most people.
I just love how much it's grown and what it is, stories and all the good times. And I think back to all the games and the friends I've made and the things we've done together. And winning the Open Cup last year was incredible. It was, I
Yeah,
never thought that I'd see the day when we won a major trophy in this country. And now there's still more to achieve, right? Like so that's what excites me is the future. And I almost think like if we'd have won a major title by now, it wouldn't quite have the same amount of excitement that we do at the moment, right? We haven't won MLS Cup. We haven't won a supporter shield. So if we can do one of those things this year, it's another massive milestone forward. And we're only just getting bigger and bigger and growing more and more. And my favorite thing is the fact that the league can't ignore us right now. And
exactly.
that we are forcing them to talk about us. We're forcing them to recognize us. And so many of these, pundits and other people that have, just like we said, they generally don't like us and they don't think we're a big market or whatever reason it is. We're forcing them to pay attention and have to talk about us being a top team, and that puts a smile on my face.
Correct. Just to close, just to close up, do you have anything to say there, Paola, real quick?
No, no. I agree with John, and I wish I could be back in the day when the USL, like the team was in the USL, so I can, you know, experience the guys and the band and all that stuff and the supporters. So I wish I could be there, but unfortunately I came in a little bit late to the party. But I'm here. I'm here now.
That's okay. I always say that. Like, I don't think anybody should be, whenever you join the Orlando City family and you're a real fan, we're just happy you're here and one of us now. It's
Hey,
none
but
of that sort of,
I was in
all
the
the
top for the
originals.
day. in
Yeah,
2018. I
I
remember
mean,
that was not good. Like, and I
Oh,
stayed and I was like cheering in the supporters section. So
yeah,
that's when I fall
I'm
in
sure
love
we
with
have a lot
Orlando.
of fans from USL who left in those first years of MLS that thought this is not as fun as it was when we were
well,
winning all the time.
that's me right here. So in 2017, I stopped being a season pass holder
It was
because
a
I
rough time.
I couldn't. Well, first I couldn't pay for it anymore. I moved. I moved to a different to Kissimmee, from Orlando to Kissimmee, and it was just things that happened, and I couldn't afford it. And then eventually, like, I still follow the team. It's just I just couldn't be a season pass holder. I was 2 years within the MLS, and those 2 years was just like bad. You know what I mean? Kind of like what Cincinnati went through in a way. You know, and now they're reaping their
It's
benefits.
like MLS growing pains, and we hate the teams that didn't have to do it. Like Atlanta just came in and won, and other teams have done that, and it's not always easy. Like Charlotte going through it now. Austin, they had a great start, and now look at them. So it takes a while to figure it out in this league. It
Yeah.
does.
So Orlando City returned to Orlando Health Training Ground, Osceola Heritage Park on Monday. Well, today, and they continue their preparations to the match against NYCFC. So there's some video of Pedro and his drills, and definitely some of the team. You could see some of the players there from the that's Mason right there, right? Um, you could also see Abdi. Abdi was part of the first team squad, as well as Luca Petrasso, as well as Duncan. He was part of the training. You can see right there. You can see Taylor. Thomas Williams. You have Alex right there in the back. You see Junior. You also saw Gaston Gonzalez. He if he's fit, he may have some minutes. So that's another depth weapon that we may get. You see that Wilder right there, getting ready. So I mean, look at that. I mean, he's in top shape. And so Orlando, this was the last training before going over there. So um, Abdi looks like he's gonna be. If we see some changes in the back line, you can see Gaston right there. You can see Duncan right there, completely healed, and you see Abdi. So those three names right there, you can definitely take it, right? And they're gonna have some sort of part of the squad, and those are Wilder's words right here. Obviously, talking about the game that's coming up.
Sitting and watching all of that unfold this past weekend.
Obviamente el partido del fin de semana pues tiene bastante. ¿Cómo fue para ti mirando al partido?
La verdad muy emocionante, creo que el equipo
Very,
durante el juego, pero
very.
pudieron
It was a great
sobrellevarlo y
game.
bueno, nos regalaron una victoria
I'm
muy
glad
importante
the team gave us a
para el
victory.
equipo, pero ahora ya está y es pasado, hay que seguir.
Now,
Tenemos
now
un
it's
rival duro el
now it's in the
miércoles
past. Now we
y
have to keep
esperemos seguir
going.
por esa senda del triunfo.
Yeah, obviously it was a very exciting game. It was a game full of a lot of emotions. I could see that the team was facing different challenges during the game, but they were able to overcome those, and thankfully we were able to get the 3 points. And now we've got another game coming up quickly on Wednesday, so we have to turn around and prepare to face a great rival.
There you go. So it's gonna be a good game. I like the fact that Abdi, Duncan, also Gaston, you see him like highly active in practice. That could be a difference maker, right, Paola?
For sure. And I hope that when Gaston comes back 100%, because I think we rush him in the last injury, even though it was not in the same leg, right? But I trust that he has been more than a month ready, but they're taking their time now, right, to have a comeback of El Tonga Gonzalez, and I hope that he could bring what he bring us in that Miami game on May, because he was out having an excellent game by game onto that injury, onto that hamstring injury that he had, and I'm looking forward to have him back in the field, and Duncan as well. So I'm looking forward for it.
And we're gonna just kind of end things here. I want to thank everybody that's been live with us. Ali Watt scored the fastest goal in club history. Pride won 2-1 against one of the top teams in the NWSL, which is North Carolina Courage. Totally, completely annihilate them, in my opinion. They were the Challenge Cup champs. I mean, they came in as the champs of the Challenge Cup, and they completely got clobbered by this young and exciting Orlando Pride squad that's definitely hunting for the playoffs. I want to give kudos to Julie Watt. To Julie Doyle, Ali Watt. Adriana was amazing too, and obviously Coach Seb Hines on Orlando City original too, right? One of the few old players that were stuck in those old times that we don't want to remember, but definitely Seb was a huge help, and now he's a coach of the Orlando Pride. And in my opinion, I think that the Pride has a lot of depth. Ali Watt is playing fantastic as a right winger, in my opinion. I think she needs to stay playing in that position. Her role is not of a striker, as a number 9. And Adriana is. I think she has a quality. Like, look at that right there. I mean, look at that. I mean, there's no way she's going to miss that. So she has the finishing, the quality to be a straight 9. Even though in Corinthians she played as a winger, which is the funniest thing. And Marta, and how she was like the Maori of Orlando Pride, in my opinion. I mean, she was just making sure everyone's going to get pass, and she might have not really been so incisive up front, but definitely did give a lot of good opportunities for the Pride to go up front. And also, I want to give kudos to Haley McCutcheon. She was fantastic defending, great defender, and as well as Rafa. Rafa was fantastic too, neutralizing some of the strikers for the Courage. What are your thoughts, John, regarding this game against from the Pride? Another 2-1 win against a tough rival.
Yeah, it was a really great game. It was a good one to go out and see. I had the pleasure of watching this one with Matthew, who is a famous movie star that the players were all playing. He plays Neville Longbottom in the Harry Potter series. So some of the players were taking pictures with him. Kay had invited him. She knows him from work she's done with the foundation that he's involved in as well. So that was really cool. He got to see the game, and we were chatting soccer, and he's a big Leeds fan. So he's also a big Pride fan. He's been a Pride fan for several years. This game was interesting. I think I was surprised not to see Messiah Bright starting, but I think tactically it works. I think we went for that kind of speed up front instead of more of a powerful 9. I definitely agree with you about Ali Watts. The game started. I got up. I went to get a beer. I thought I had time. I did not have time because Ali Watts scored before continuing my trend from Saturday of getting up and team scoring.
So the juju is real then.
It's me. Yeah, it's me. Yeah. And then it happened again for the other goal as well. So you're welcome. I can't stay in my seat, and that's why we scored 6 goals this weekend. So overall, it was a really good game, though. And I don't think you can underestimate, like you said, Luis, how good the Carolina Courage are and what that did to the table. We were like down in 8th at the time. And then this we were down in 10th at the time. And this put us up to 7th. We were 1 behind the Washington Spirits in 6th for the playoffs. So it's really tight right now. Like the Courage are on 28 points. So they're only, 3 points ahead of us, and they're in 4th. So a couple more wins, they've got I believe 4 games left in the season. Luis, is that correct?
That's right.
Let's check. Yeah. So sorry, 3 games left. So we got to play
Mm.
Angel City, Racing Louisville, and then the final home game against the Houston Dash on October 15th. So it might all come down to that last home game as to whether the Pride are in the playoffs or not. But this was a massive step forward. They had to win this game to have a chance of being in the playoffs, and they went out and they did that, and they did it convincingly. When you say, Luis, I think it looked to me like we were the better team, and I think the stats reflect that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they gave absolutely everything they had in this game.
Yeah, you could see it meant a lot.
You could see Michaela Clough too. A lot of people are not mentioning her, but I thought she was a fantastic 8. She's a fantastic number 8 for the league-wise. I'm gonna say. Marta was fantastic. Haley McCutcheon, to me, right as on the right back, to me, she was great.
I mean, they dominated the ball, Luis. They had 67% of the ball, and you wouldn't have known it from that game because we were just every time winning it back, and we are attacking at a much different. They're kind of like Orlando City, the Courage, where they want to hold the ball a lot. So they were possessing the ball, getting up the field, but they just didn't have any options. They weren't able to break us down, and that's partly due to the back line and Listro and Clough, having a really, really good game and just 2 lines of 4 most of the time. Really, they just couldn't get through us. Once we went 2 up, Seb basically just shut the game down.
All right. So, Paula, okay. So no, I do agree. 2 shots on goal for North Carolina Courage the whole game. 2 shots on goal. I mean, that's fantastic. So, a very foul. I mean, they were fouling here and there. Both teams. 12 fouls for Orlando Pride, 11 fouls for North Carolina Courage. So, and then I'm just very happy that the Pride are only 1 point away. While Orlando City is second in the East, Orlando Pride is 1 point away to make playoff contention. So that is just fantastic. And it's a 6-point week. And then OCB, my friend, OCB clinching playoffs. You've been essentially to some games, John. What are your thoughts regarding that playoff clinching?
I mean, at one point we weren't sure whether they were going to do it. They kind of had early season they were killing Louise, and later, more recently, they slipped up some games, dropped some points, and we weren't sure whether they were going to make and clinch it. So I was so busy last week that I didn't actually see that game, and it was great news to look on Twitter to see that they clinched playoffs. So it's like, that's awesome. One thing I would say is their final game is next Sunday, and it's I think it's at the exact time of the Miami game. So I think it's a real stinker that the league has set both of our games at the same time, in their final game of the season. Hopefully we get a home playoff game because I want to go down and support the boys one more time. And I think it would be awesome if we get a home playoff game to get like a big crowd down there, even like 1,000 people or so would be great, because these guys, it's hard to, I think, to perform for such a small crowd. And I think it would be nice for them to show, the fruits of their labor, right? They made the playoffs. Let's reward them with a big attendance for a playoff game, hopefully.
I agree, John. Let's read some comments real quick before we go. Let's be in Inter Miami, says Joshua Tall, especially since that's on my birthday. Oh, whoa, happy birthday, Joshua. It'll be great for Orlando to beat Miami on your birthday. That would be fantastic. Sitch Taylor, let's beat Miami. Let's go City. Thank you so much, Sitch. Messi sucks. It says Sitch Taylor, Messi sucks. Get some Messi. Nothing about fight with Orlando City players. Read my comment. Playoffs is a good instead of Miami. So we're making playoffs and Miami doesn't get anything. There you go. I like that. It'd be funny if we. I mean, we're definitely gonna make playoffs. I mean, there's really no doubt that we're gonna make playoffs. But I'm just saying. We imagine Miami doesn't get playoffs.
Oh, that would be nice.
That'd be so sweet. Thank you, Sitch. I appreciate it. But how did it our lineup end up real quick before we go? Thank you so much for all your support. Drop us a thumbs up. Galeze up top. Holiday, Rodrigo, Jensen, Santos. Right at the 4 in the back. Cesar, Wilder, and then Mauri right on the 10. And then 2 left wing, Martino Ojeda. Right wing, Facundo Torres. And right up top, Ramiro Enrique. Right as your 9. That will be our lineup for the game against NYCFC. We may see some changes. We saw Gaston heavily involved in the practice, like he's completely fit, as well as Abdi Salim, as well as Luca Petrasso. So, we may see some new faces. Anything else you want to say before we go, John?
No, just I'm continuing my campaign, Luis, for hashtag Renew Oscar. Other people have joined the world of media and other podcasts. Orlando City are now also, repeating our sentiments that we were saying that he needs a new contract. So that's what I want to see happen soon. I'm sure you too, and so does Luis Musi, and so does Ricardo Moreira. So let's make that happen 100%. And follow me on social media. On Twitter, it's John Rollins OCSC. On Instagram, John Rollins, for all my takes and funny banter and whatever else Orlando City that I post.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying that that they know somebody that knows somebody that now they're saying I wanted the team to win. That's why I was Papi out. I don't give 2 cents who's the coach or players are on the field. People come and go, but the badge remains. But with it, people don't understand. And the reason why people say that is because you were very negative and you were very toxic to a lot of people within the OC Twitter realm. And now people are calling you out because you're backing out. And that doesn't show you integrity. And you cannot also hold against people that are calling you out. You have to just take it because you called them out first for being Papi out, because you were Papi out and you know it. So it is what it is, my friend. The whole point is not to focus on that. It's to focus that we're winning and to focus that the team is doing great and to focus that the team is going to actually, the players are ready to lock it in and to definitely move past all of that and definitely push to go deep in the playoffs. And that's what we want. But you cannot tell people not to call you out for the BS that you started in the beginning of the year. Because the people are going to call you out and people are free to do whatever they want. Just like you're free to give out your opinion, people are free to call you out. And I want to say that. And when it comes to Oscar, it is what it is. I mean, all teams in the world go through slumps that are, not so positive. But in a way, I believe that Oscar finally found the know where each player can excel in each position. So I'm fine. Whether he stays or not, I have a feeling that he definitely will stay. If he stays, great. And we'll see what Orlando can do. But I mean, no one can take the turnaround. I mean, that's the whole point.
No.
The turnaround, it's been fantastic.
And I think that was, the man won us the U.S. Open Cup. So
Exactly.
No matter what happens, and I don't think he's going anywhere. I think it's just a case that we like to wait until the end of the season to do our contract business. But as many people have pointed out, that's perhaps a little bit risky. I'm not sure exactly what the rules are, whether he can be approached or not by other MLS teams before the end of the season. But, maybe I don't know how you feel about it. Do you think Oscar is distracted by this at all? Do you think he's thinking, why haven't they? Or do you think it's just, I'm focusing on this season, I'll worry about next season afterwards? I think it's more likely that it's the second one. Oscar is so goal oriented on what they're doing right now that I don't think he's going to let any of this contract talk affect him. But I also think that we should just make it happen and put his mind to rest so that he knows, this is my club going forward.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I believe Oscar should stay. I believe also Luis Musi, Mr. Musi, and Ricardo should stay. I mean, it's not my first time watching the sport. I see it in a more of a comical perspective because I live that. And I can tell you, I mean, what Orlando has done, not being one of the most heavily invested clubs in the MLS. I mean, look at us. We're second. I mean, whatever they did is working. Yes, it took a little bit, and people and fans get a little frustrated, and that's okay. And, you cannot take anything away from the fans, but also you have to hold those fans that were disruptive and toxic, and those fans that were disruptive and toxic and talk a bunch of stuff and a bunch of crap. Other fans are allowed to call them out, and they need to take it and rub it in and pucker up. I just feel like, we don't need that type of negativity. We need to focus on what's next. And Orlando's doing so great that really no one really thinks about that time anymore. Everybody's moving forward, and I think that's what we need to do as a team and as a squad and as a club. And I'm happy that Oscar and the players are able to maybe shut the haters or the doubters down by the way they play, which is what soccer players should do. Shutting them down by how they play and their wins and their goals. So,
100%.
so I'm so happy for that. So, anything else you want to add, John, before we go?
No, the final thing is everybody on Twitter is voting for Pedro Galece's Golden Glove. I believe this is some kind of scam / bot / somebody playing a joke. It's come back again. If you notice in the awards, Matt Turner is there, who literally just played today for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. So it's an old vote. I don't know why it keeps coming back. I think somebody's playing a joke on us, but
I do feel that.
But at the end of the season, we will be voting for Pedro as Golden Glove. This is not a real vote, though. So just FYI.
Pedro needs to win the Golden Glove for sure. I mean, needs to at least be nominated. I mean, you know what I mean? The level he's performing club-wise and national team-wise, I don't think no other keeper in the MLS is performing that well, And let's see what happens. But in the end, I think what's most important is how Orlando City does.
And right now we're doing very well, Luis.
Right now we're doing very well.
I have no complaints.
Ride the tide. Keep it positive. Let's unite. All of us chant Orlando City. Support the team. Support the boys. And Papi and Papia, it doesn't really matter anymore. What matters is that we're winning. We're second in the East, and we're moving forward. And that's what we need to look forward to. So I want to thank everyone that's watched the show, that's listened to the show, as well as John, as Paola as well. Everyone that left their comment, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys. I think we'll see them in a surprise show before on Thursday, right?
Yeah, we got to talk Miami on Thursday.
We'll be back on Thursday, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your time.
Vamos Orlando.
Vamos Orlando. Thank you.